could be a wary person, a person who's good, who's checking out the group to make sure that we are not the kind to take advantage of him or her. Happened since we left the farm. Well, since we visited the farm, we have lost. Well, it's easy to say since we followed and blindly trusted some of the people and then went to the farm, we ended up losing 2 members. But most of the group is doing fine. Lily is grieving through trying to concentrate on work, which is one form of trying to forget about someone she lost. In the end, she will have to grieve the process, otherwise it'll get out of control and she'll become hostile towards a group like most people do unless they sort it out. But they are mostly fine. They do not seem to be traumatized, which is a surprise. You think they'd be conclusive, they will stay away hidden, but in this case Duck is fine. He is a bit special after all, but he is a kind, kindred spirit, much like Clementine. Carly is on the lookout. She's wary. She's starting to. She's more interested in what's happening with Lee, in if he's going to tell the truth, because she wants the best for him. So he's going to have to come clean and tell everyone, or otherwise they're going to have trust issues with him. So it's best to come clean, especially if you know that if you got the support of those like Kenny, Kaja, the kids. But Lily might accept it. We'll see. Clementine is another tough kid. As you know, the kids tend to handle it more than the adults. It might be because their minds are still growing. Oh, we lost Larry due to a heart attack, and the heart attack is due to his anger issues and his age, and he needs his pills. So all in all, we could say it's down to his old age and needing the pills, which then caused, and with his ongoing anger issues, it led to a heart attack. And with the death of Larry, Lily is now grieving. And the other member of the group we lost was Mark. So we lost Larry due to a heart attack, being locked inside, and which led to an anger issue, which led to heart disease, heart attack. And we lost Mark because of his injury, which gave an opportunity for the farmers, the bad people, the cannibalisms, to butcher him, and they kept him alive for obvious reasons, to not taint the meat. And this is why one should always stay with the injured, especially in another group's home. It's seeing how you just met this group is really a dumb decision. And what did we get from this group? 2 deaths, some cupcakes, no meat. So all in all, we learned a lesson on not to trust strangers. Right, so we're going on a scouting hunt with Lee and Ken. The rest is at the group. The rest of the group is at the camp because it is defended for the time being. We've got walls against the zombies. Our defenseless wall. We've got no bandits, no humans threats that we know of. And we've got our sentry on duty, which is Lily. So what we're doing right now is we're looking for scavenging, you could say. We're looking for meds, food, supplies, anything for future endeavours, in case we come across anything that we could do to trade or for our own group. So we have another survivor that has left a building, an abandoned building in the nearby vicinity, and we could help her. There's 3 options you can do here. You could help them, you could not help them, you could just leave it be. And helping them would be where you could call the zombies towards you and then lure them away via a road into a building. But seeing how she's already bitten, your best chance is just to leave it be or put her out of misery. But if you don't put her out of misery, you're more likely to have her screaming non-stop until she dies, which is kind of haunting. But I'll show you the second endings of this entire episode towards the end, and like in any other episode. But yeah, in this choice is where you put her out of misery, or you could, take the zombies out too, but that'd be a waste of bullets. But since we put her out of misery, the zombies will be coming towards us, which gives us less time to scavenge and get on the somewhat bad side of Kenny. And I mean, on the low end though, so you kind of annoyed Kenny by not listening to him. So in the midst of looking for meds, well, we don't really know what we're looking for, we're just grabbing any meds and foods, anything scavengable for our group in the future, at present. But since we don't have enough time and the zombies are knocking at our door, we're going to have to end up rushing this. Now at this moment in time, seeing how we're trapped, I'm trapped, and Kenny's here is deciding whether or not should he help or should he run. Now a coward would normally in a split second run for it, so it shows that Kenny somewhat does want to stay and help. So he is part of the group, so you can trust him, he's trustworthy. So you can trust Kenny because he would have split it right on there. He could have split it the moment he looked at that door. So obviously he was second guessing, but he stayed in the end, so that's good. As usual, Kenny and Lily is on bad terms, but they're fix it. But seeing how Lily is grieving still, she hasn't had time to grieve, so she's putting all her time and effort into stockpiling, accounting, watching for bad guys. So she is gonna all burst out of the bubble in the end if she doesn't take her time to grieve loss. Her sad, she needs rest, food, some time alone, and support from the group if she were to get better and not go against you later. Having someone like Lily with a military background is handy because they have experience in gunfight, hand-to-hand combat, and stockpile accounting, etc. And also she was able to have 2 separate notebooks for accounting, one for the public to see, the group, and one hidden for safety reason in case someone decides to steal something and rub away what was there and put a false number. Now, for obvious reasons, she's putting all her energy into this because she wants to help the group and also to not think about her dad who was recently killed by Kenny, so you can see why they kind of have a little spat between them. So we're going to start looking around for any evidence, and we're going to have a little helper, Duck, and maybe Clementine I think will help us, so we're going to have 2 little helpers and keep them occupied. Carly is the reasonable one. She sees reason in everybody and everyone, and what she's trying to do right now is convince you to tell the group about your convicted past, because if it were to come out later and they didn't know about it, they would find it harder to trust you, and they won't know what to believe in the future from you. So if you tell them now, someone else brings it out later, or someone else brings it out later, then they will already know about it and they will trust you more because you told them what is about your past, about what you did, and it was an accident, of course, even though I still don't believe he did kill him. I believe it was zombies, I believe it was zombies. I don't believe he really did kill the boyfriend of his wife. But it's best to come out with the truth, seeing how the group is reasonable. But We have no bad people at the moment. Maybe Lily might be a little sketchy, but I think she already knows about it via her father. With the help of Dark, our special little investigator, we end up tracing our way into where the drugs were hidden. For what purpose were they were hidden and who hid them? Well, we're about to find out why and soon or later. There's many reasons why there be our medicine that we need for our group for the future would be hidden there. There'd be someone in our group putting it outside for some reason, maybe to give it to another group or maybe to use it for their own. Maybe they wanna run away, but then they would have other stuff there stashed like food, water, tools, equipment, other than just medicine. So it would make me think if they're stashing meds, they might be bribing someone or maybe giving it to another group. And whoever's doing this, they should have spoken up and said about it instead of trying to pay off whoever they're doing or giving it to another group, maybe. And then we could deal with it that way, we would be prepared. But instead the bandits made their way in and end up holding our own people as hostage. So there's one person in the group put everyone's life at danger. Whether it's for good or not, they did it and it happened. So now we've got to deal with the baddies and hopefully get everyone out alive. Sadly, during this transaction of the raid going down horribly wrong for both sides, more so on the other side than our side, but sadly we lost our investigator, our little one of the children, which is, he's gotten bitten, I should say. There is clearly one of them got bitten there, and you don't want either of your group getting bitten because that will tear your group down. In my personal opinion, I also believe it's the new guy that we let in, because no one here in their right mind would be doing that. They would obviously be telling someone in the group or going as a group effort, gathering up and telling them what's going on. So my bet is on the new guy, which is in the football clothes. I forgot his name, but I'm not good with the new names, but I'm 100% on him. This is where everyone, or should I say Lily, starts tearing out everyone's throats because she believes someone's in the group did it. Obviously we know someone's in the group did it, but you don't go about it in a way of accusing everyone. You accuse everyone and then everyone starts bittering, and then you lose the whole object of the group, to stay alive, to survive. So what you should be doing is an independent inquiry later, get safety and then question. Now since Lily's still grieving and she hasn't processed the 5 stages yet, she out of nowhere decided to put a bullet in Carly, which surprised me, shocked me to the core. No emotion in Lily whatsoever, so it shows that she still needs time. Now there's 2 choices you can do here. You can leave her on the side of the road, or you can take you with her, and those choices will be at the end. What this choices be. And as I mentioned earlier, she has no one left, so she only had the group, but the group was strangers to her, so she's still grieving. And hopefully, and as I said, if you start talking to her, stay by her side, support her, you could get her to come back to normal or normalcy. But we did not do that in time because of the bandits, which caused this whole thing. But then the new guy, the Jersey kid, actually I believe he caused this whole thing. What kind of scared me here is out of nowhere you had a nightmare. It's like a premonition of what to come. Like, you'd be thinking maybe this will be happening to Clementine, maybe he's worried this what will happen to her, seeing as what happened to Duck and Carly. But we know what happens to Lee later, don't we? Alright, the road's blocked, there's basically nowhere to go, but the train's in the way. Hopefully we can get the train working, follow the tracks and see where it leads, and hopefully the tracks aren't blocked either. But first we've got to check out for walkers or crawlers or any of the undead about, and we still got other problems such as Lily, and we've got to figure out what to do with her. This is if you chose to let her go with you. If you've seen Train to Busan, Busan, then you would have seen this train at the very end of the movie, and it's pretty cool to see a game in the movie and in the game, like live action movie where you see the trains and then you see it in the game. It's basically very similar. You got the driver's side seat, you got the doors, you got the back engine parts, the compartments. It's all like very similar, which is pretty cool. Alright, so in one of the train carts, we found a train map, a bed in water, and we know that someone's been living here, most likely a single person, but we don't know if this person's good or bad. And seeing how this person seems to have disappeared at the point of us appearing, it could be a wary person, a person who's good, who's checking out the group to make sure that we are not the kind to take advantage of him or her. Alright, so we found the stranger, the random, who seems to be living on this train. He looks like a hobo or a homeless man. And now generally, real homeless people tend to be the good people, the nice people. Now the fake ones out there who beg and prey on you for money tend to be the bad people. Like, I've seen real homeless people, like, if you actually lost or dropped something, they would, like, in an instant, give it back to you. Now, the fake ones would take it. Now, that's why I say about never give to the homeless, because you never know who's real and who's not unless you do something like that. Or you can just donate to their shelter. There's homeless shelters all around in the UK. And they would help the people, the real, genuinely real homeless people. Now the college kid, the new kid, he's very worried for some reason. Like, he's like really scared for some reason. My suspicion is real high on him with the drugs. So yeah, I trust the homeless man more than the kid at this point. Sadly, Duck seems to be injured, maybe from the bite, and the mother, Katya, is gonna be standing and staying with him at all times, while the father, Ken, will want to help, but he knows he can do nothing about it. So he's gonna preoccupy himself with work, the train, getting his family and the group out of there, which is what we normally do when it comes to someone injured in the family and you know you can't help them. Another bad sign of Duck being infected is blood splattering coming out from his organs, which is spilling up and seems to be an internal problem from the bite itself. There's really not much you can do about it at this point but comfort him, which is what the mother's trying to do. And as Kenny would do, he would try and preoccupy himself with the train working, because he knows what's to come of the living when they get bitten or when they're dying, especially when it comes to family. So he will lash out at you if you push too much or too far. With Duck, at death's door, they decided to put him out his misery, but they went about it the wrong way. Katya, the mother, decided to do it, but we all know that she would be too emotional to pull the trigger, so it would have to be someone out of the group. And so she decided to end herself, and that is reasonable coming from someone who loves their family. The mothers tend to have more love, emotion towards their kids than their partner, maybe because they bore their child for 9 months in the womb, and then they had to go through the pushing and such and pain. They form more of a connection towards their loved ones, their child. And the men tend to the men don't tend to show they're emotional that much, but they are there for you. Now Kenny will be strong mentally. He will end up putting the bullet in, but he will also want to stay alive, but unless you're there to support him, he will in the end go crazy. He will be reclusive. He will stay away from the group. He will start lashing out on everyone and everything. Sadly, this is to come without help. With knowing what to come, we want our little ones to be brave and strong and prepared. Don't matter how young you are, this is the apocalypse. So we will be there to teach you how to shoot, fight, eat, scavenge. You're never too young, especially in the apocalypse. So, and with Clementine being our spirit of the group, we will do everything we can to keep her alive and the group. So it turns out my suspicion was right, it was him. No one say it's all my fault unless it's relating to a previous past or a past problem, a past problem you could say that happened to the group. So guilt is holding over him. So our train stopped because of a oil tanker has somehow made its way off the bridge. Many reasons why. It could be a traffic car problem, it could be zombies in the way, who knows. But we come across a group, or a small group at this point, of 2 people. Now at first sight or glance, they seem to be good people. Well, at first glance anyway. Normally they got no weapons, you've got a female and male. Normally it's all males when it comes to bad people. But seeing how it's a couple, a lover, 2 lovers you could say, it might be safe for now, but we're going to have our doubts, but they seem to want help just as much as we do. From the looks of the people, their faces, their eyes, it seems like it seems like they're desperate or in trouble. The woman anyway, she looks good, she doesn't seem to be looking for any trouble, same for the dudes. But from the looks of it, she's the one who is in charge out of him and her. So far so good. Looks like we're in a good area for now. Looks like they just want to help, or looks like they're most likely looking just to be part of a group, or a bigger group with good people. So for now, we're just gonna look for some tools and get this thing unhinged. This is that another way in, which there could have been a back window or something. A little person, but on standby to unlock doors like we did here. We had Clementine, a little helper. Now what we should be doing is hold. Well, you could actually put a stick between the door wedges or a stone. We want as much light as possible. We know there's no bad people about, they would have been in about. That pallet on the floor we could use to hold the door open, but I think we found something else to open the door. But on the side we're going to put Clementine in through the grates, which is never safe because you don't know what will be out. It's good to have another weapon, or give her or a weapon, so have something on standby to poke through those grates, through the bars, in case something is behind there. Now you see how I mentioned there's always something hiding in the dark, so this way you should have had her run back, well, seeing how it was, unless you're quick enough to open that gate, you want her to get as far back as possible away from the zombie, so like to the back of the room if possible. Maybe push down some barricades or something in the way. You could also try grabbing the zombie's shirt, clothes, pull him towards the bars, that would help, but there's also a risk of getting bitten. This is one sign that you got good people. This is one sign that you got good people with you. Right now you're trusting this person to hold you at least 2 floors up, and if you were to drop and hurt yourself badly, you would be more likely to die from your injuries, because in this day and age, in the apocalypse, you have no medical, no hospital, no doctors on standby, so we lost our best person, Katya, who was trained in helping the body. But this Randall group is putting the trust of another stranger group, which to him is a stranger group. So it shows that they are willing to help each other. So we know these 2 people have a lot of feelings towards one another, as one risked her life to jump off the train to help her group, a partner you could say. Now when you're grabbing the people here, you want to try and grab the one from behind, because the one in front, or you want to grab the injured one, most likely, because the injured one is going to have a little bit of trouble getting back on the train. But if there's one in front, one behind, you want to try and grab the one from behind, and then that gives you more time to grab the one in front. Now there's 2 different choices here you can do. You can help him by pushing him, or you can convince him by seeing how him and the woman are together. That's the best way to go about it, is by convincing him that she can be left alone with this group. So that's going to motivate him to jump, to go for it. So that's one way of doing it, either talking or pushing. They're basically, or action or talking, they're always the best options. This would be the second choice, where you choose to not shoot her, which gives you more time to loot and get the medicine that's needed. But in doing so, you would also have a haunting scream inside your head while also trying to loot. And it is haunting because I can actually still hear it. But that'd be one of the other choices. This would be the second choice, where you choose to not shoot her, which gives you more time to loot and get the medicine that's needed. But in doing so, you would also have a haunting scream inside your head while also trying to loot. And it is haunting because I can actually still hear it. But that'd be one of the other choices. If I had the sound on for the game, you would also hear the screaming non-stop, but if you were to play the game, you would hear it yourself, or maybe go somewhere else on YouTube, you'll find the screaming. Even if you kept Doug as a survivor instead of Carly, the traps would still go off, but it would still be too late because the bandits know their way about, they come here often. So having Doug and having Lily not on sentry duty, watch out duty, because of the stealing problem, which is because of the new college kid. This what led to the bandits still making their way on to the thing. You need at least 2 people on watch duty. This is when you decide to leave Lily instead of taking her with you, even though we all know why Lily acted this way. But yeah, this would be a second choice. She then becomes more hostile later when you do this, so... This is the choice where you let the father to kill Duck over you doing it, even though it's never best to let your own family members do it. It's more guilt towards them, more what could I do, what can I do. I actually thought it was the other way around, where you pushed him, but I just remembered you getting pushed by him. But this is where he still fails to jump, which when you jump, you've always got to make sure you put your knees down and give yourself a roll, maybe jump on your sides. But I haven't jumped from that high, so I have no opinion of that. So, a recap on what happened. So, we lost our base, our temporary home base, due to the new kid. due to the new kid not telling us about what he's doing, about the drugs, or the bad people that actually, came and took over our base. If he told us about the bad people where he was supplying the drugs to, we could have done something about it. We could have upped our security, and we wouldn't have lost Duck during the process, and Katya later on. With the loss of Duck, Katya's son, Kenny's son, Katya ended up taking her own life. Couldn't bear to do it. Her heart was broken. Kenny ended up losing his whole family during this process, so he's now gone into reclusive, staying away from the people, even though they are there to help him. With Lily still grieving, and she put all her focus into work instead of grieving with time and support. She ended up taking out, depending who you have, Doug or Carly. This is where you also lose Lily. You can either leave her by the side of the road, or you can take her with you and she will take the RV later on. So either way, you lose Lily. So during this, we do then find a train, and we do make our way along the tracks and to escape to a new place. Along the way, we find two good people who seem trustworthy at first sight, who are more wary of us than we are wary of them, because we outnumber them. Olmid and Krista. They have already shown their good faith by giving a helping hand, giving us trust in us. A stranger, normal bad strangers won't just let you hold you over the head ledge like that, so we already know they're on the good path towards becoming our friends, or they're playing the long game. So during this episode, we lose Lily due to her grievance of her father. We lose Doug, depending if you chose Doug. Or if you chose Carly. We have also lost Carly during the process. Either Carly or Doug, really matters. We've also lost Katya, medic, you could say, and her son, Duck, and along the way, Kenny, because that is his part of his family. But we have also gained 3 new members of the family too, or the group, you could say. We have gained Olmid, who seems to be wants to join the pit group, and also his short girlfriend or friend, Krista, and we also gained a new member for, could be a long term, short term, we'll see. The homeless dude. He's probably more of a good guy than the new kid is anyway. But overall, it's all the fault of the new kid who let the bad dudes in, supplying them with medicine that we could have used. And if you had told us about the blackmail that the bandits were doing, we could have held up our security and kept on high alert and took them out ourselves.